Hello, hello, welcome back. Federal employees, you will thank yourself for listening to this episode, for being here today. This one is going to push back on a few things that you probably hold dear to you. I'm just going to push back just a little bit on a mindset that I see federal employees have. I work with tons of federal employees, and I often can see the different, stereotypical personalities that you find. And federal employees as a group tend to be very consistent, very hardworking, and those are great things. But I think there is a mindset that also comes with that is sometimes an incredible thing, but also you have to watch it to make sure it doesn't get out of hand. So today, we are talking about about how federal employees, if they change their mindset, if they change how they view retirement, that they could potentially retire way sooner than they originally thought. So, buckle up and get ready to be uncomfortable, maybe just a little bit, to be uncomfortable and ready to think about retirement in a different way. And maybe you already think about retirement this way. I'm not sure, but in my experience, when I have brought this up to, let's say, my clients, or to just federal employees in general, they don't know what to say because they honestly haven't thought about it much. So let's dig right in. So today I'm talking about early retirement and how you as a federal employee can retire early, okay? Now, when most people, at least on the private side, when you ask someone, okay, when are you going to retire? Their question is, as soon as I possibly can. Right there, this is the moment I can afford to retire, I'm out. I'm going to retire. Some people love what they do, right? There's always that, even on the federal side. Some people love what they do and they're going to work longer. Or maybe they need something to do. They want to be engaged, they want to stay busy, so they stay longer. But there is always that subset of people who say, hey, at the moment I can, I am out. But when you ask that question to a federal employee, correct me if I'm wrong, right? I'm talking to a lot of federal employees. I'm not a federal employee. This is just based on my experience. So I'd love to hear in the comments or wherever to say, okay, am I on point? But when I ask this question to federal employees, their question is, okay, as soon as I'm eligible to retire and I can afford to retire, then I will retire. And it's not a bad way to look at it, right? You have some great retirement benefits, and you definitely want to get the most out of that. And waiting until you're eligible, meaning waiting until you can get the most out of those benefits, is a great strategy. But it means, by definition, you are going to be working for the government for a long time. And does that make sense for you, right? For some people, it does. It makes perfect sense. And I have tons of great clients that are great people that love their federal jobs, and it works out great. But I know everyone's different. And so this is what I'm going to push back on. Is that working for the federal government is a great gig. They have great benefits, and there are huge perks for working a long career, getting an immediate retirement, getting the benefits that you deserve, and having a great retirement. That is a great thing. But some people sometimes, by taking that approach, they forget and they stop trying to retire early, or to be so financially independent, to be so financially free that they don't rely on some of those benefits that the government offers. Some people rely on it so heavily that they don't prepare outside of those benefits for retirement. For example, even on the private side, this happens a lot, where people know there's going to be Social Security, and for federal employees, that you know that you're going to have your pension, Social Security, that people often don't prepare as well as they should by themselves for retirement, or just financial independence, for life in general, because they say, hey, in retirement, I'm going to have these things, and I hear they're pretty good, and so I'm going to just take a chill pill. I'm not going to worry about it until I get closer. And the most people that call me are pretty close to retirement, because they're like, crap, I'm close. I want to make sure I'm good to go, right? So that's not a bad thing. Obviously, when you're getting close to retirement, you want to do the double checks, and you want to be okay, all that good stuff. And I get that. That's great. But make sure that it's not just about retirement. It's about being financially independent, about being secure, about saying, hey, if something happens, I'm going to be okay because I'm on track. I'm doing the small steps every day to be financially independent. And then when I say financial independence, I don't mean you're sipping a tequila on the beach every day. I'm not saying you're not doing anything. That's not what I mean by retirement. That is not what I mean by financial independence. What I mean is that you have saved enough, you have investments, you have income, maybe passive income, you have things that you can live off of. If you didn't have to work another day, you would be okay, right? Where you keep, let's say, your expenses in a conservative way so that if something was to happen, your passive income, your investments, maybe your TSPs, other things, you could tap it, you could do things where you're going to be okay. And there's no perfect way to do this. There's no blueprint of like, this is how to be financially independent young. People do it with some businesses, some people do it with real estate, some people do it with the stock market, some people do it in many, many ways. And so I'm not telling you one strategy. I'm not saying this is the strategy that you need to use to be financially independent early. All I'm saying is think about it. I think this is one area that federal employees don't think about. It doesn't come up as often as in the private side. So as you're maybe approaching retirement, or as you're in your career, wherever you are at, think about it. Okay, do I want to work for the federal government forever? And if yes, awesome. But do I want to be prepared? Let's say a early retirement comes up, where a VERA, a V-E-R-A, the voluntary early retirement something, I don't remember the exact things, but what if that comes up? Are you prepared? Do you want to take it if you could, right? So these are the sort of things to just be prepared for the future. What do you need to do to be organized in your life? I know a lot of these podcasts, a lot of these YouTube videos, I talk about specific benefits, specific things that you need to work on. And this one is not about that. It's not about a technical detail of any rule, of any handbook. It's more of a mindset. And I'm going to do more of these things. So I think it's so important to remember what we're working towards and what you want, what you're working for. Some people just kind of take the status quo of what people assume that they want, put in a good 30-year career and then retire and travel off into the sunset, right? But for many people, that's not the dream. And if they stop and think, okay, what is the dream for me? They'd realize that. And so I guess I'm doing a lot of talking here, but my point is this. Financial independence doesn't have to wait until you've done 25 years and you're 62. Financial independence doesn't have to wait until an age, a years of credible service with the government. You can start today by trying to be prepared in life, whether that is be conservative with your expenses. I'm not a huge fan of not living. I want you to live your life and experience things and do things, and sometimes that takes money. So I'm not saying be a cheapo, right? I'm not saying be so frugal right now and push all your joy and just be a workaholic now and push everything till later. I'm not saying that. I'm saying enjoy your life, but what does that mean for you? What's an ideal life look for you? And how to get there as soon as possible, right? I know some feds that retired, let's say, late 40s, early 50s, right? Because they had lots of credible service, and then a VERA came along and they were prepared. They had all their financial ducks in a row so that they didn't have to worry. That came up, they applied, they were accepted, they were to get an immediate pension at age 50, and things were great. Or maybe, let's say, your career choices, your career preferences change. You say, hey, I don't know if this federal career is perfect for me. This incredible job opportunity came up on the private side, and maybe I want to take it. Are your financial ducks in a row to be able to do that? To have financial freedom, financial security, so that you're not relying on anything. And like I said, it's a great thing to get the most out of your benefits. I help feds do that all the time, where I say, hey, if you do this and this and this, you'll be able to tweak this and get tons more on your pension, on this, on this. I do that. That's a huge part of my business, and I think it's hugely important. But just remember the big picture of what you want in life. I mean, technically, if you want to maximize your federal benefits, you'd work for the rest of your life, right? If that's how you maximize it. where if you want the biggest pension possible, just work as many incredible years as you possibly can, and your pension would be huge, right? And your TSP would be huge, but that's not the point. That's not the point. At least I don't think it's the point. Maybe I'm way off. Maybe let me know. But the point is living a life that you love. And of course, work's going to be involved. And I think work is an important part of every fulfilled life. I think you have to challenge yourself. You have to do things. But having options to not have to do something is hugely, hugely valuable. I might have said this before on this channel, on this podcast, but retirement is not just about not working. Some people retire and they still work and they love it. They love their job. Or maybe they retire and they start a business. Maybe they retire, they take on a part-time job. Some people retire and do relax, and that's okay. Retirement is not about not working. That's not the definition in my mind of retirement. Retirement is having the option to not have to work. Where some clients kind of get nervous when I say the word retirement, right? And so I have to be careful. I say, okay, let's not plan for retirement. That's a scary word sometimes. Let's plan for the day that work becomes optional. Where work becomes optional because you're so financially fit, you're so financially prepared, you have all your ducks in a row that it's optional. If you want to keep working, great, all power to you, continue. But let's say something changes in your health, you're prepared. Something changes in your career. Maybe your boss changes and it's not a good experience anymore. You're prepared. These are the sort of things that I want you to start thinking about is early financial independence. And maybe that's not early retirement, however you want to look at it, but just being prepared now to retire early. I think that is a huge, huge goal that all of us should be trying to achieve is, okay, how do I be financially fit enough that I don't have to worry about things that come up in life. If maybe my health fails, I get in an accident, something happens, I am prepared. So this is my thought for the day. Hopefully this is helpful. Hopefully this changes how you think about your career, about your finances, and how it all works together in your life. So good luck. And maybe this was just a big long ramble. I don't know how it comes across, but I hope it's helpful. Hopefully it changes your perspective and how you view your career. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you next time.